Hello, hello. I'm Sasha of Sasha Makes Cards, and today I'm here with Kraftin Kimmie Stamps sharing a crafty sneak peek for the upcoming March 2025 release. Today I'm sharing a card I made with the new You Make Moo So Happy stamp set, which is a stamp set that features 3 main cow images and then a few accessory images, which are 2 flowers and a fence, as well as 4 tiny sentiments. Also in this release is a Crafty Comeback stamp set, which is the Once Upon a Time #1 stamp set, as well as a brand new layering stencil called Pretty Posies. Now, since this is day 2 of the Crafty Sneak Peeks, if you want to check out that stamp set and layering stencil, be sure to check out my Instagram account. I also recorded a little video for those, a little reel. That is also uploaded on my YouTube account as a YouTube short, so if you want to see me making that card, be sure to check it out. Now, since the stamp set features the 3 adorable little cows, I thought it would be perfect to make a spring themed card. So far this year, we've had a few days that have felt at least a little bit like spring. Today, as I am recording this voiceover, it definitely does not feel like spring. It's warmer than what it has been, not by much, but it is very dark and gloomy and rainy and kind of cold today. So I'm hoping that by making a spring themed card, spring season will feel like it comes sooner rather than later. For this card, I decided to use the image of the cow sitting down as well as the fence, so I started by stamping those 2 images onto a 100-pound hammermill cardstock using an alcohol marker friendly ink. For this, I used the Simon Says Stamp Intense Black ink. Now, I only initially stamped 1 fence image, as my initial plan for this card was just to use the 1 fence. However, near the end, as I was actually gluing everything down, I decided I want to stamp another fence and put it onto the card. So right now you only see 1 fence image, but I later on decided to stamp and color another one off camera, so you will see another fence just magically appear. To color the images, I used my Ohuhu alcohol markers, as well as a single Prismacolor Premier Colored pencil just to add a little bit of texture in at the end. I used the same color combination, a brown color combination for both the cow and the fence, just to keep things simple. For the cow, I was really trying to make it look like one of those really cute, fluffy Highland cows. If you ever seen them in real life, I'm jealous of you, but if you've seen pictures of them online, they are adorable. So that's kind of what I was trying to make this little cow look like. Starting with my darkest color, working to my lightest color, the brown color combination that I used was E130, then E260, then E240, then E220, and then lastly E210. I used a black Ohuhu alcohol marker to color in the eyes, which is 120, and then use a white jelly roll pen to add some little white dots in the eyes. To use the Prismacolor Premier Color pencil, like I said earlier, I just used it to add some texture onto the cow. I kind of just made it look like it had some of that really fluffy, curly, adorable Highland cow hair. And then on the fence, I tried to use it to make the fence look like it had a little bit of a wood grain texture. Now, you may have noticed at the bottom of the fence image is a few blades of grass. However, I didn't color that in because the way I'm putting my card together is there's going to be a frame over top of it, so you won't even see it on the final card. So for me, it doesn't matter. Also, hence why I got a little messy with the cutting at the bottom of the fence image. Now, since I am making a spring themed card, as I had already mentioned earlier, I want the background to scream spring. So off camera, I die cut a frame from a Lawn Fawn die. It's the Flower Garden backdrop die cut. Put it onto my sticky mat here and ink blending a little bit of green ink around the edges of the frame and onto the leaves. I'm using a combination of Mowed Lawn Distress Oxide as well as Twisted Citron Distress Oxide to do this with a detail blending brush. Another idea I had for this card was just coloring a scene with alcohol markers. It's something I've done a handful of times. I really like doing it when it goes my way, of course. But for this, I had the frame die cut, so I want to use that, and I thought it would look really nice with the cow, and I'm quite happy with how it turned out. But if you want to make your own spring-themed card background, you can very easily just use alcohol markers, swipe some blades of grass onto the card using some various shades of green markers, color in some little tulips, create a little sky, Doing that is honestly one of my go-to methods when it comes to creating scenes, and I want to keep it simple, but I want it to look really nice, but I don't know what to do. Just create a very simple scene. It always looks pretty nice in my opinion. Now this die cut also features some other smaller things that you can cut out with it. Features some little sprigs of leaves, some petals, some flowers, as well as a little butterfly. So for this, because there are the spots on the frame itself where you can put down little flowers, I die cut the flowers and the butterfly as well, and then ink blended it using some worn lipstick distress oxide and another detail blending brush. On the frame, there are 7 spots that you can glue the little flowers down. However, it only die cuts 6. So I decided I was originally going to die cut another flower, but then I saw the butterfly and I thought, you know what? The butterfly would be very cute to add on to this card as well. Now that I think of it, something else that would have been very cute is if I glued the butterfly onto the cow's nose. And I wish I had thought of that. That would have been adorable. That's an idea for another time. Maybe even the next time I use this stamp set. The next time I use this stamp set and share a card with it, there may or may not be a butterfly on the cow's nose. Can't say for certain, but there probably will be. Now, when I was choosing the color to ink blend the flowers and the butterfly, it did not take much to decide on the color pink, because what goes really well with the color green? Pink. Green and red, or green, pink, whatever, are complementary colors. They always look amazing together. And it's a color combination I use quite often because my favorite color is green. I use green a lot when I'm crafting and making cards and choosing my color palettes. So most of the time, the color green just ends up in the color palette of whatever I'm creating, and I like it. I'm even wearing a green sweatshirt in this video. I'm sure you've probably seen my sleeve a few times. But what better to go with a nice bright blue sky, some green springy leaves, than some pink flowers. And of course, that cute little pink butterfly. Speaking of the sky, I used Salty Ocean Distress Oxide to create the sky, just taking a blending brush, creating a very subtle gradient of just the one color blue. If you want, you can create a gradient using a few different shades of blue, or even another kind of gradient. If you want it to be more of a sunset, that would be very pretty too. Throw some orange, yellow, a little pink in the sunset. That would also look pretty nice. To finish off the card, I then use some liquid adhesive to glue everything down. As you can see, that magical second fence appearing out of nowhere. To glue the fence so that they would be behind the frame, I glued them directly onto the frame first, then glued the frame down, then glued the cow on top of the frame, and all of the little flowers on top of that. As for the sentiment, this stamp set features 4 different sentiments, which are Holy Cow, You're How Old, Heard It's Your Birthday, and You Make Moo So Happy. Obviously, I went with that last one, You Make Moo So Happy, and I used the Simon Says Stamp Intense Black ink to stamp it directly onto the card itself. I do often use sentiment strips when I'm making cards, however, there was a nice big open space in the blue sky on this card, so I decided to stamp the sentiment directly onto the card itself. And that is the completed card project. This stamp set, along with the rest of the release, will be available to purchase starting this Saturday, March 22nd on the Kraftin Kimmie Stamps website. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.